You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 288. The part of you that your ex hated is actually your secret weapon. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, breakup coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, beautiful brave hearts. Today we're diving into something that came up in a recent coaching session that I think is going to blow your mind. So I was working with one of my Bigger and Better Life Mastermind clients as we were picking different projects for our 6 months together. And she was beating herself up over something she absolutely hates about herself. I've seen this over and over from her. She waffles on decisions, feeling one way and then completely flipping it to the other side. And she was inside of the Get Over Your Ex program years ago, so I've known her over the last couple of years, and she's done this. And it drives her crazy. She sees it as one of her biggest flaws, this inability to just pick a lane and stay there. But here's what hit me during our session. I just was watching her. She was reveling in it, being all upset about it, like I've seen her do multiple times before. But what I witnessed was what if this thing that she hates most about herself is actually her superpower? And it really got me thinking about my own journey. And for years, I was labeled as someone who made reckless decisions. My dad would shake his head. My ex would lecture me about responsibility, and I would internalize all of that. I internalized this idea that my quick decision making was actually a character flaw that I needed to fix. But what I realized was once I embraced this part of myself and I started to love it, everything really began to change. And I realized that not sitting in indecision was actually an asset for me in my life. And I make really bold decisions that get me bold results. While everyone else is overthinking and analyzing and researching and taking proper responsible, in quotes, responsible action of planning, I'm taking action and creating the life that I want. And that quote unquote reckless quality that I've been criticized on before is exactly what helped me build this business. It helped me live where I used to vacation, and it created everything I once thought I needed from my ex. So today I wanted to talk with all of you about loving the parts of yourself that you might hate and why that might be the key to finally getting over your ex and building your bigger and better life, okay? So let's get real about where this self-hatred comes from in the first place. We don't pop out of the womb hating aspects of our personality. My baby Teddy doesn't hate aspects about himself yet. These judgments, they get instilled by external voices. Maybe it's from parents who wanted you to be more responsible, an ex who criticized you for being too emotional, maybe from friends who told you to toughen up, or maybe it's a societal situation that's labeled you in a way. Maybe it's labeled you as your sensitivity is a weakness or something, right? Now, the cost of rejecting these parts of yourself is massive. When you're at war with aspects of who you are, your confidence takes a hit. And here's what's wild. You often then attract partners who reinforce this rejection. The ex that you can't get over, I bet they criticized the exact same parts of yourself that you already hated. Whoa, right? So after a breakup, this gets even more intense, right? You start blaming these flawed parts of why the relationship ended. And if only I wasn't so indecisive, if only I wasn't so impulsive, if only I was more organized and less emotional or more ambitious, right? But what if, and stay with me here, what if those exact qualities are actually your greatest strengths? What if you've been taught to hate your superpowers? What if you've been taught to hate your superpowers? Let me talk through my client situation, right? So she sees her decisive or her decision waffling, right, as a massive weakness. But as I began to think about this deeper, I'm like, I'm discovering something really fascinating. Her ability to see multiple perspectives and reconsider decisions and think about them from many angles probably means that she's rarely made catastrophic mistakes. While others who charge ahead with tunnel vision, sometimes that's myself, right? She's constantly course correcting versus charging ahead. And in business negotiations, maybe she's anticipated like objections because she's already thought of them herself, because she's thought about it from all angles. And this quote unquote flaw has actually protected her from making truly quote unquote bad decisions throughout her life. That's like one way of looking at that. Now, the same goes for many of you listening. So maybe you hate that you're too sensitive, but that sensitivity gives you empathy that makes you an incredible friend and potential partner. Maybe you hate that you're not ambitious enough, but that quality means you prioritize relationships and experiences over external validation, which creates a rich, meaningful life. So how do we transform these hated parts into recognized superpowers? So step 1 is identify a trait you hate about yourself. Get specific. Instead of I hate my personality, pinpoint exactly what bothers you. Is it your indecisiveness? Is it your impulsivity? Is it your need for external validation? Is it your emotional intensity? Step 2 is question where that hatred came from. Whose voice is it really, right? Close your eyes and think about the first time you felt bad about this trait. Was it a parent's criticism? Was it an ex-partner's constant complaints about you? Is it society's messaging and conditioning? Now, this is going to help you realize that this judgment isn't some like objective truth. It's just someone else's opinion that you've then internalized. Step 3, I want you to find evidence of how this trait has actually served you. And this is crucial. For every trait that you've hated about yourself, there are situations, I promise you, where it's been helpful. My client's waffling has helped her avoid disastrous decisions. My personal recklessness has helped me create a life most people only dream about. Your sensitivity might have helped you connect deeply with others. Your caution might have protected you from genuine harm. Step 4, I want you to reframe this as a potential strength. This is where the magic happens. That indecisiveness, we're going to call it thoroughness. That impulsivity, we're going to call it decisive action. That sensitivity, we'll call emotional intelligence, right? That need for validation, we can call it relationship awareness. You're going to reframe it into a potential strength. And then step 5 is you're going to practice intentionally using this trait as a superpower. This is where you get to lean in instead of pull back. If you're too emotional, what happens when you intentionally use that as like that emotional depth to connect with someone? If you're too cautious, how might that thoughtfulness help you create a solid plan for your future? Now, I want to address how this directly connects to getting over your ex. Many of you are stuck because you believe your ex rejected these parts of you. Maybe they did. But here's what's like keeping you trapped in this is that you rejected these parts of you too. And when you love and accept what you previously hated about yourself, something remarkable happens. You stop needing your ex's approval. You stop hoping they'll come back to validate those parts of you. And you realize that their opinion of you is just that. It's an opinion. It's not a fact. And here's the kicker. You become magnetic to the people who actually appreciate these qualities in you, right? The parts your ex criticized, someone else will cherish them, but only if you cherish them first. Beautiful. I want you to take a moment right now, and if you're not driving, close your eyes, and I want you to think about that part of yourself that you've been beating up, that part that you blame for your breakup, for why you can't move on. And I want you to imagine embracing that part completely, not changing it, not fixing it, but loving it exactly as it is. And feel the relief that washes over you when you stop fighting against it, when you stop fighting against yourself. that's what freedom feels like. Okay? Building your bigger and better life isn't about becoming a different person, Braveheart. It is about becoming more of who you already are, more of who you truly are, all parts included. It's about recognizing that what you thought were your greatest weaknesses might actually be your most extraordinary strengths. So I'll leave you with this question. What part of yourself will you start seeing as a superpower today? All right, my brave hearts, I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next time. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.